This video is to go over the format and studying for the lab exam. The information on this video is found in text on the following tabs. There is just too much text to have on one page here. And this is actually the format your lectures will be in. Different lectures will be on different tabs too, so I figured I'd let you get used to that format. There are 4 in-person lab exams. They happen every about 5 or 6 labs. So I see here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 labs, then a review session, and then we have a lab exam on labs 1 through 5, because axial skeleton sort of fit more with the next unit. Then we have appendicular skeleton, labs 7 through 12, or 11 will be on the test. Please see the syllabus for the actual schedule. This is a draft of your class schedule that I'm looking at. Now, the review session is the same day as your lecture exam. Class will review for the first hour, just so you could look at the models one last time. I could go over things one last time, and then we'll have the lecture exam. So you have about an hour to review, then you have 2 hours for the lecture exam. However, you should be studying after every single lab for the lab exam. And I'll talk about studying later in this video. So this hour is not enough. You should be studying for a lab about 12 to 18 hours a week, and then another 10 hours a week for lecture. So you have a lot of studying in this class to do. So lab exams are actually more like lab practicals. You are going to be asked what specific histology slides are, or what specific structures on models are. So this is one of our classrooms at San Ramon. It's East 240. I did not have a picture of East 229, and for some reason this is on the internet. So we have tables in our lab class. And at each one of these stations, so these are the seats, they're stations. So here I will have a mannequin, and I might ask body regions. Here I'll have the cell model, and I'll ask organelles. So I'll have something at each seat. And I will have 20 of these stations set out. So again, there'll be stations. Each one of these seats is a station. And I'll have some sort of model on it. So I'll have a model here, a model here, a model here, a model here. What will I have here? Why, yes, a model. And this actually looks like they have it set up for a lab exam. So see how these two things are back here. Sometimes when I taught in this classroom, I would actually have models on this back table. So at each station, so each one of these stations in the room has a model on it, and I'll set up 27 stations. So here I said it was a mannequin, so I might ask, what is region 1? What is region 2? This is station 2 right here, and I'll have the cell model. What is organelle 3? What is organelle 4? Here, let's say I have tissue. What is tissue type 5? What is tissue type 6? And so forth. So it will number from 1 to 50. Wait a second, that's only 25 stations. The last 2 stations are going to be extra credit, so there's 4 possible extra credit stations. So again, for the format, there are going to be 27 stations set out. The last 2 are extra credit. At each station is a model or a picture of histology, and I will ask 2 questions, and the questions are going to generally be, what is? Now, you're going to have a paper for the answer key. It is going to basically be a paper with 27 lines or 54 lines on it. You are going to write the answer to the questions. No word bank at all. Now, that sounds hard and scary. I get probably at least 10 100%. So that means they got 50 out of 50 points, which is how it goes in the gradebook. I usually have some perfect scores too. So that means 3 or 4 people not only got all the stations right, but they got the 4 extra credit questions right too. So it sounds tough and challenging, but actually students do really, really well on lab exams when they study. Now, one more thing. It is department policy that spelling counts. It is supposed to be spelled correctly. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to be grading these fast. If you miss one letter on the entire test, or you swap 2 vowels like that evil I before E except after C, which is actually a lie, I probably won't notice it. If you're getting every single thing wrong, I'll notice that you spelled something wrong. So again, it behooves you to get everything right, because if you miss one letter or accidentally leave a letter out or put an extra letter in and get everything else right, I'm probably grading it so fast I don't notice it. Now, this is the famous question for anatomy students. What do we have to study? And several of my colleagues say everything. I actually don't think that's fair. There are way too many terms in the textbook and the lab book for you to be responsible for everything, especially if there's like 3 structures right on top of each other. That is absolutely not fair. So I have given you study guides. If it is on the study guide, it is fair game. If it's not on the study guide, it means I either forgot to put it on it and I won't ask it, or I don't think it's an important structure. To find the study guides, you go to the home page, and we go here, lab modules, histology to upload, lab exam 1 study guide. Presto, we're on the study guide for lab exam 1. This is actually the same module right here. So I explain it, it's on labs 1 through 5, and I have it in 2 formats. This is the newer format. It has all the newer models on it. It has all the models in the lab book. Some of them even have links to my webpage. So it's going to be your better bet. But they're different pages, and that bugs some people that they're on different pages. So I also have it as Word documents. Now this is an older file. It dates to the before times. And the pictures are older. They're all stolen from Google. Borrowed from Google. And I might have forgotten some things or left things out. I know for the nervous system one, there's a couple models that we got during the pandemic that we didn't have before, so they're not in the Word document. So these are the more reliable sources of what I'll ask you. So I clicked on the study guide. It basically lists out what you need to know. Whole skin model, epidermis model, and there's pictures. Some of them are just the pictures of your lab book. Others, if you click on, will take you out to other websites. And these are mouse over models. So it gives you the terms. And if you move the mouse over, oh, hypodermis. Ooh, piscine corpuscle. Ooh, eccrine sweat gland. Duct of eccrine sweat gland. So I list what you need to know, and usually some sort of model. A lot of them actually go to my webpage. And since we have histology, it also lists what you need to know for histology. And all the histology on the lab exam will be printed out pictures from Google Images. So this is actually my photo. I'm very proud of it. It would be a picture like this, so you're not going to look through a microscope. So what is structure 1? Stratum corneum. What is structure 6? Stratum basale. Now, sometimes there might not be a link to my website. One nice thing about the pandemic is I put all of our models and a lot of our histology online. So this is my webpage, and it has the models on it. This is the mouse over models. These are rotating models, and this is histology. So if I click on here, it has all the labs. I'm going to click on axial skeleton. I'm going to pick a model, and frontal bone, parietal bone, temporal bone. So you could guess what the numbers are and then move the mouse over, and it tells you what it is. So the pandemic was actually a great excuse for me to do this. I used to send people to another website, but it wasn't our models. It wasn't for a full anatomy class. Now these models are similar, but instead of the mouse over telling you what it is, I have videos explaining the model, and you guys could actually turn the models, allegedly. So see how I'm turning the models? That will give you one of the lab book pictures. This one will see, this one's turning easier. The one above is funky. So you could actually rotate the models and go, ooh, teres major, teres minor, infraspinaeus. So you can rotate them. So these are our actual models in the classroom, and you could click on these and it actually is the lab book picture or an older lab book picture. So that is a good resource. Next question, how to study. I hate flashcards, but they're actually a good way to study for this because the question is going to be, what is the structure? So on one side, you have the picture. On the other side, you have the answers. I highly recommend just printing out the lab book and stealing those pictures. At least you have one side already done. So you can use the mouse over models. That's the ones where you click on it, click on the structure, do a brain, and you have the corpus callosum. There's the rotating models, and there's the histology. Now, I also recommend taking pictures of all the models in the classroom. I am not the best photographer in the world. My father, who was a photographer, is turning over in his grave that a lot of my pictures are not the best, so take your own pictures. For lab, I'm going to have you upload histology. That's sort of a sneaky way to make you have all the histology as well. So you have it all on your phone, so you could go through the histology and say, oh, what tissue is this on my phone? And the appendix of your book. So here's the table of contents, page 2. Just go click on that. We have videos, we have lots of histology. The histology I'm going to steal from Google, so this shows you what the tissues are. Students actually get caught up on the histology because what they do is they study one picture and I grab a different picture. That's slightly different. So we have our models, we have the Pleasant Hill models. So in order, so this is a fish blastula. So they didn't crop these. This is areolar connective tissue. This is my web page for the same thing. I have the lab book picture, then we have different versions of the slide. These are all taken from students who uploaded their histology. So that is a good resource as well. And basically, you need to study. You need to study every single day for the lab exam. So every day, study for the previous lab or the current lab. I also have sample tests for you, and it's a good way to get used to taking a time test. You have 2 minutes per station. So this is going to give you a bunch of questions. It's going to give you 20 questions. You have 15 minutes. So a little bit less time than you would have. So it gives you a chance to basically get used to taking it in a timed environment. So if you scroll down, we have the sample tests here. I'll just click on one. This one's on the first 3 labs. These are actually the tests I did when it was an online class. And it will give you 20 questions, one at a time. And basically it's either you write the number of a structure down or it's multiple choice. So that is how the lab exams are set up. Please ask me questions if you're confused. Thank you.